Well, good evening, everybody. I hope you all found a nice seat. Welcome to the Pletterij. We're here tonight to talk about the state of queer activism and also the state of some queer activists, mostly in Ghana and Malaysia. We're honored to welcome two guests from each of these countries, Adisa Musa from Ghana and Siti Kasim from Malaysia. We would also like to inform everyone that this evening will be filmed and live streamed. If later on you want to ask a question but you don't really want to be on screen, you can give us a little sign in the break and we will make sure that you remain off screen for that. To give you some context about this initiative, Shelter City is a project that allows human rights activists from around the globe to get a time of respite, to recharge, gain access to help, and create a network around the world. Haarlem became part of this initiative in 2018, and this has allowed us to host evenings like these, where Adisa will come to speak for us, and it basically gives us the opportunity to do this. My name is Zino, I study culture, media, and technology, and I will be your moderator for tonight. To give you an idea about the program and how we will structure the evening, I'm giving this introduction now, and after this we will have a short video that will be shown on the screen behind me. Then I will introduce our first speaker. There will be a short time for questions. After that, we will have a small break. I will introduce the second speaker. They will do their part. There will be some questions, and then after all of that, the questions from the audience can come in, and we will have a dialogue with everyone involved. So first of all, I would like to refer you to the video. Well, thank you so much for your attention for that. I think that gave you a better introduction than I could probably ever give. More personable, for sure. But stick to some of the facts. Adisa Musa is a Ghanaian LGBTQIA+ defender, a human rights defender, who currently serves as program manager for several important programs in Ghana, such as the Alliance for Equality and Diversity, which is currently the only national LGBTQIA+ coalition. In recent years, with the introduction in 2024 of the Proper Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, it has become increasingly difficult to express yourself as a queer person. But Adisa has continued to work on initiatives to make this better, such as a hotline for queer people in need. And they're also currently working on a podcast, which we are crowdfunding for tonight. On the tables, there is a red pamphlet. But he will tell you more about this later during both the questions and their own presentation. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to our first guest, Adisa Musa.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Can I bring this up? Yes? Right? Okay. All right. Oh, what did I do? Yeah. Okay, so I wouldn't do much of a personal introduction. I think the video has given you an insight of who I am or who I used to be in the context that we used to operate in as a country in 2019. But that context, as you can see, has changed drastically. So we were in 2019 having a kind of, I wouldn't use the word liberal, but it was a more accepting community. Then people really didn't care who you were as a queer person. As long as you were living your life and people were living their lives, it was okay. So you could find me at that time being interested in issues like getting married. But at this point in our lives, we are fighting for the rights to even exist. So marriage is not even an issue on the table. But then before we get there, I'll just give you briefly how we move from that society to where we are right now. So yes, in 2019, we're living in that society. Everything seemed a bit so well. We're making so much progress as queer activists, queer persons in Ghana. And that video was shot in 2019, I think from the beginning to the middle part of 2019. However, at the latter part of 2019, we were visited by this organization called the World Congress of Family. It's a pro-right family group from the US. So it's an evangelical group. And their sole task or sole mandate is to spread what they call family values bill, where to them, family is all about a man and a woman and then the 1.5 child. 1.5 child is a grown child and then a baby. The baby is the half. And that for them is their simple mission. On the surface, that's what it looks like. But then for those of us who have studied their movement and how they work, we know that first they attack the LGBT community, because usually we are the low-hanging fruit, and then next they attack women, and then they attack sexuality, comprehensive sexuality education. The idea is to put the white male man here, and then everybody else at the bottom of the ladder. So when we saw they came into Ghana, we knew what was in store for us because we had seen how they operate. They did the same in Nigeria. When they left, Nigeria passed an anti-LGBTIQ+ bill. They did the same thing in Uganda. And then when they left, Uganda now has an anti-LGBTIQ+ bill that actually includes even a death sentence. Yeah, so they were in the country in 2019. And the way they operate is they come into the country, they build strong relations with politicians, opinion leaders. So by the time they go, they already have left this blueprint for these people to just implement and before you realize there is a bill. We had them in 2019. Then right in 2020, when the COVID-19 restrictions were lifted, there was this youth organization that opened a community center just for young people to be able to come and be free in just that few minutes that they can in their lives. That center, unfortunately, was, young people, they were excited about the center, they put it out there on social media, and it was raided and closed down by the government because it was more of, they are now opening up centers to teach our children how to be gay. Subsequent to that, a couple of colleagues of mine, a few months after the center was closed, were holding a paralegal workshop, and the police also raided that workshop because they had gotten a tip-off that they were holding a gay conference. So that workshop was raided. 21 activists were arrested and put behind bars for 21 days. We went to court about 4 to 5 times trying to get them on bail, but we were refused bail each and every time until we had to use international pressure to get the government to get them released. The case was eventually thrown out because eventually they realized they did not have reason to continue prosecuting them. So, right after that in 2020, we went into 2021, and then immediately, as we expected or we suspected, there was the introduction of what we call the anti-LGBTIQ+ bill. It has a very long name. It started off as the Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill. But then over time, the name has changed, and now we have it as the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill. But in summary, what the bill seeks to do is to simply wipe off the existence of queer persons in Ghana. And in the way it does it is that it criminalizes queer people. It criminalizes you by virtue of you identifying as a queer person. That's the only sin you need to commit under this bill if it becomes law. And if you are found, suspected, believed with no proof to be an LGBTIQ+ person, you get 3 years in jail. If you are found organizing or doing any work advocating for queer people, you get 3 years in jail. If you are not an LGBTIQ+ person, but you are found supporting the community, you are found as an advocate, what we are doing here, if this bill gets passed, everybody here is arrested and you get 5 years in jail because you are here, you've created a space to listen to a queer person talk, so you get 5 years in jail. It goes up to 10 years for even people who are identified to be teaching young children diversity. You get a 10-year jail sentence. So that is what the bill seeks to do. Fortunately, we survived. The bill it was tabled before Parliament between 2021 and by the time we got to 2024, we were lucky. It passed Parliament, but then the president refused to assent to it. Because he was leaving office and he didn't want the bill on his name, so he didn't assent to it. We came into 2025, we have a new Parliament, and the current Parliament is pushing for its passage. This is largely so because our current Speaker of Parliament, you can see in this one here, he clearly has indicated that he will sacrifice his life to ensure that the bill is passed. He's made it his personal commitment to God to ensure that the bill is passed before he leaves office. Since then, since 2021, when the bill was introduced, and with the way the anti-rights group operates is that they also work through the media. So by using the media, they have made a lot of people believe that the bill, even though it's still a bill, some people now believe that it's been passed into law. And therefore, there are people that are willing to give out their LGBTIQ+ friends or family members because, again, there's a clause in the bill that puts a mandate on people in the community to report people that they believe are queer persons. So we have landlords evicting their tenants on suspicion that they're good. Just by they thinking that you dressed funny or you speak funny or you talk funny, it's enough for them to evict you, because their belief is that if they don't evict you and their neighbor reports them, they would now be in trouble, so they throw you out. People have lost their jobs because their employers suspect that they are queer, so they lose that. We know, and we have friends who have been forced to get married to cover up their queerness because they do not want to lose their family ties. Every single day we wake up to these kind of publications, either in the news, either on TV, print media, on the radio, and sometimes it is so heavy for the community, the normal Ghanaian who is queer and just trying to make a living, to deal with. And what happens is that for some of us as activists in the work that we do, which involves a lot of movement, building, for some of us, we rose from the grassroots. So we didn't just start from the top. We came through the community, we rose through the ranks to where we are now. And so we are so much in touch with the grassroots community. And what that means is that when people are struggling, people are kicked out of their homes, people have lost their jobs, and they do not have any money to feed, you are the one that they will come to. And these are already marginalized people who even struggle to get a job in the first place, because, again, majority of them probably didn't even complete school. Majority of them probably don't even have that family background to continue supporting them. So you, the frontline activist, you have to unwillingly sometimes usurp the role of a mother, father, brother, sister, savior in the community, because you have to support them because, well, they don't know anywhere else to go to. This is who or how or what LGBT activist frontline is. This is a clear depiction of who we are in the community. In the work that I do, again, which is a lot on movement building, I try to bring organizations together to be able to rally around a particular cause. I try to help them build their structures. I try to create programs where queer people receive some form of trainings. Could be mental health support, it could be safety and security workshops, it could be resource mobilization, etc. I also try to link organizations to donor funders, etc. So the way that I do my work is on so many levels. I work with organizations, I work with donors, I work with the grassroots community. And then you have to do all of this, and then you get home each day, or you wake up each day in the morning, and there is a text of somebody trying to see if you can get them some money so that they can buy food, or you can help them add money to whatever money that they have, because their landlord has thrown them out and they do not have the resources to take them to court to ensure that they get the full balance of the monies that they paid. So for in the way that we do the work, it's this basically is the life of frontline activists. And sometimes it's like when you are at the battlefield and you're at the forefront, you are the first point of, you are the first one that the bullet hits. But then in this instance, you're at the forefront, not even with the right tools to protect yourself, because sometimes even the money to buy these tools to protect yourself sometimes even looks like a luxury, because you cannot protect yourself when your fellow colleague, queer person, doesn't even have food on his table that will help him go through the next day, or need money to go to the hospital. Some is in a life-threatening situation, and you have to assist. And so it becomes so difficult for us. And I think when I got here and this is how a lot of us have been living our lives for the longest of time, that's as we became frontline LGBT activists. And when I came here in September, this literally was me. This literally was me. And it was, but then you find yourself in this situation, and again, there's really nothing you can do. You just have to keep carrying the load and then keep keeping on. It wasn't until another colleague of mine saw me Enough of the sadness. A colleague of mine looked at me one day and said, "You need help." And I was like, "There's nobody to help me." And they were like, "No, there is this program that we know goes on. It's run by Shelter City, and I think you should put in the application." And then I put in the application, and I got lucky enough to be selected to participate in the program. The Shelter City program, for maybe some of us who don't know, it's a 3-month rest and capacity building opportunity that is run by an organization called Justice and Peace in partnership with, I think, The Hague, because it's mainly championed by the Dutch Ministry by Netherlands, because, again, you are the champions in promoting human rights. Yeah. So I came in alongside 11 other people. I think I'm the 12th participants. One of the participants is also sitting here, Siti, with me. She's from, you introduce yourself. And since September till now, I must say, and I keep saying, it's by far has been one of the amazing periods in my life. The picture. Yeah. It's so because Thank you. I didn't know what I helped with tears. Now I know. It's hard because when you are surrounded by so many hatred and fear on a daily basis, so hard. Yeah, need to get over it. It's so hard because when you're surrounded by so much hatred and fear every day, and then you get to be in a society that is very accepting and very open, sometimes it's hard to believe. I struggle each day. Sometimes I wake up and then I keep having to ask myself if I'm living a dream or it is the reality, because I realize that when I wake up and I'm going to the shops, I realize that I do not have to look over my shoulders. I realize that I can dress the way that I want and act the way that I want and still safe, feel safe enough to walk to the shop and then come back home. The hatred in the community got so much so that last year my organization we had to close our office and then start working at home. Why? Because we went to the office one day. Well, I am one of the senior staff in the office, so I got there one day and then my colleagues were outside, and then they asked me to quickly come in. I got in, and then I was asking what was happening, and they said there was a stranger in the office, and they didn't know where this person was coming from. And unfortunately, being the senior staff at that moment, I had to go and figure out who it was. I walk into the office, and as I was walking towards the door that this person was supposed to be in, a gentleman charges out of the office and starts running towards me. So I had to quickly walk out and then close the door right behind me because I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know why he was running towards me. So when I closed the gate, I asked him who are you and what do you want? And he said point blank that I am looking for you. We know what you are doing, and you are the one that I'm after. And it was strange. Before we could, shout for help to get other people to come in, whoever it was had used the back door and left the building. Of course, we reported to the police. Of course, it's a queer organization. The police is not going to do much about it. We still don't know who this individual is, and so we had to close the office and then start operating from home. Sometimes it's hard to wonder it's hard not to imagine what he could have done if he had gotten to me, because my colleagues were there, he didn't do anything, but then the moment I got in, he charged at me. So then it's easy for me to feel or believe that I was the person that this person was looking for. When it comes to receiving hate comments and threats, it's an everyday thing. We are so used to it, but when the person is directly attacking you, it feels very different. For some of us, even getting outside the country also sometimes is a bit challenging. We laugh about it because sometimes that's the only thing we can do. But I can say for a fact that we know we are being watched by the government. For example, if I am going through immigration, usually for everybody, you just need the immigration officer to take a picture and then scan your passport and then you go. But for me and a few other activists that have also shared similar stories, you would need a senior immigration officer to come and do whatever it is that he does in the system before your passport is given to you. We've tried to ask why it happens to just a few of us, but anytime we ask, there isn't any reasonable answer that is given us. And it leaves us to conclude that we are being watched and we are being, our movement in and outside the country is being monitored. Therefore, when you put all of these together, and then here I am for the past 3 months with so many amazing people in such an amazing country, it's a dream that every other Ghanaian would love to live. And when I live it as an activist who is fighting for what I'm enjoying here for the community back home, this is the life that I'm living. This is the life that a lot of people aspire for. And when I think about it, I feel so much blessed, so much happy, so much excited to be here. And I know, and I keep telling the support group at Plateret that I know, even though I keep saying never say never, this might be 3 years, 3 months. I say 3 years because it sounds like 3 years. These are 3 months of my life that I will or might never be able to experience. And so I hold everything that this country has offered me to heart. The people at the Plateret, my other colleagues at Shelter City. It has been an amazing experience. And I do not leave the way that I came. I leave a much refreshed, I leave, I believe, a better person at heart, because not only have I been able to strengthen the ability that I'm going to do my work, but then also I feel I am a much better person now than I came into the country 3 months ago. I should have gotten a better picture of an activist who is looking excited, but no, I didn't. I forgot that part. But then, I mean, nonetheless, we go back home to continue serving our community, because we still have a bill that some of us believe will pass. Whether it will come for our lives or not, we don't know. But then we can only prepare for the worst, because they have passed a worse bill of such sort in Uganda, and Uganda is suffering the consequences of that. So it's happened, and we believe that it will happen to us as well. So I feel I'm more refreshed to continue with whatever task it is that the future has in store for me. But that notwithstanding, I look forward to doing, I mean, there are so many things that I look forward to continuing when I go back home. Aside everything that I am doing so far, there are 2 amazing initiatives that I'm looking at doing. One, of course, is the podcast that I'm super excited and hoping to be able to start. And this is a podcast that the whole idea is to be able to, so currently, The young people in Ghana are very visible. Young people are very visible. They want visibility and they want it now. And they will fight for that visibility and independence that they want, whether you like it or not. And with a country that has so much stigma and discrimination going on, when the pushback is so strong, most queer young people would resort to drugs, substance abuse. And as a result, there are a lot of mentally unstable, mentally ill people in LGBT people in Ghana, especially trans persons. They don't only abuse the substance, but they also tend to abuse unprescribed hormones, because if somebody is dealing with gender dysphoria and they look in the mirror and they can't recognize that person, but then a colleague tells them, oh, if I give you these pills and you take over 5 years, you will be able to see yourself the way you want to see yourself in the mirror. They will take it. And as a result, we are seeing a lot of trans women having to go through some type of, what is it called? A lot of trans women are having issues with their liver and their kidney, and we've had to contribute money to support them with dialysis, and sometimes it's hard we are struggling to feed ourselves and our family. And then now we have to also take from that to support other queer people who have to go through dialysis. It's very terrible. And so I believe that the podcast gives me and some other people the opportunity to be able to educate the larger community on the effect of these drugs and the effect of these substances that they are abusing. Hopefully that awareness will be able to reach a wider population, and then people might rethink their decisions when they are taking some of these substances. The second thing that I'm also hoping to do, this is something that I was doing already, but then I was doing already, I didn't have the resources, so I had to stop. But it was a text message from someone a few months ago that got me reconsidering my decision. And I'll just read the text message briefly to you. So one person, and this is a trans woman, it was a support group that I created for them in 2020. So he reaches in that WhatsApp group and he says, "Hi everyone, hopefully everyone is doing well. The community has been dull lately. When we used to go to sessions with Solace Initiative, and that's an organization I used to work with, I recall that we could share our tales, both positive and negative, knowing fully well that there was someone there to listen and support you emotionally without passing judgment. All I can say is that we are losing our sense of identity and belonging. I miss you all, especially AD, that's me, Bill and Gaga. These two other people also used to help me hold the support group space." And then it was so hard on me. I struggled to be able to respond to them because I knew it was, again, a call for me to start something that I didn't have the resources to start or to continue. So, but then eventually I had to reach out and say something. So I reached back at him and I said, "Hi, how are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Maybe let's start planning something next year." And then he comes and he says, "Oh, I truly miss those days. The Solace Initiative created a space where I felt seen, included, and safe. Those moments weren't just memories, but they were healing, warm, and belonging at a time I needed it the most. Everything I experienced there will forever remain in my heart." And when you see messages like this, it's just hard to abandon the community and move on. And it simply means that sometimes you need to take from a resource that you do not even have to ensure that you create the space and keep this hope alive. This is a Ghana we had in 2019. We don't have this anymore. But then we hope that one day we will be able to do this again. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I would just like to thank you as well for being so open and vulnerable with us, because it's all super personal. So thank you for your vulnerability. And yeah, you explained it incredibly well. You also highlighted some of the better parts, even though sometimes it's difficult to find them maybe in the situation. But these issues are, of course, incredibly personal. With all of this legal and all these laws coming in that make it increasingly difficult, where does that leave the personal development for these people in your experience?
I would say that in 2019, personal development probably would have been a thing to aspire for. But currently, if you're struggling for your very existence, if you're struggling for your very life, if you're struggling for the food that your ability to be able to do work and put food on your table or the table of your family, sometimes personal development seems like a luxury. Because at this moment, what we are fighting for is our lives and our very existence. We believe that one day we will get to that point where we would be interested in developing other aspects of our lives, but at this point, all we think about is how to survive each day.
Yeah, it's just not on the agenda because it's unthinkable in this situation. Yeah. You were also talking about that you were going to do a podcast. What is the goal or what is the idea behind it? What are you going to do?
So, like I was saying, so the podcast generally is to be able to create awareness and spread education within the LGBTIQ plus community. But then we know that majority of the people that we are targeting are the trans community. And again, this is because we believe that because the education is not there, the awareness on the effect or the extent of the effect of these drugs are not there, young people would immediately easily go for it as thinking that is an immediate escape, not knowing that it has long-term impact. So that for us is the beginning of something that we hope will have a longer term effect.
Yeah, so start with the basics because that's something they already probably don't know or don't have access to, and then from there see where that can go. Yeah. Is there anything in terms of action that you've seen from outside? Because this opportunity has, of course, been amazing for you and you will take it back with you. But what are effective things that we can do or that other countries can do to really help?
I think it would be great if other countries could also replicate what Justice and Peace or Shelter City is doing. I have looked through or I've asked through my group of frontliners to find out if anybody has been able to benefit from this opportunity, and it is a no. Meaning I probably am one of the first queer activists in Ghana to benefit from this opportunity. But I know for a fact that this will be very beneficial to so many of my other colleagues. We make fun. Sometimes when there is no option, you laugh at your own pain. We make fun as a group of people, as a group of activists, when we sit to do work that we are all crazy. And it's true, we know that we are all crazy. We know that we are all mentally not there. But then there isn't any, we are all not mentally there. And I know that we could potentially be okay if we all get to experience something like this. But it's a very scarce opportunity. And I'm thinking and I'm believing that if there are more countries that are doing this, it means more people get to benefit from this. And I believe it will go a long way.
I certainly hope so. I hope that this opportunity becomes available to as many as possible. But for now, I would like to thank you for sharing your story with us, and I would like to get one more round of applause for Adisa Musa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we going to go straight to the next? Okay. Then we have another guest. The second speaker will be Siti Kasim, a prominent Malaysian human rights lawyer and activist. She is widely recognized for working on defending indigenous land rights, defending LGBTQIA equality, and criticizing the intertwining of religion and state. She entered politics as an independent candidate, aiming to address some systematic issues that stem from this intertwining of religion and state, which she sees as the root cause of many of Malaysia's social and political issues. Please give a warm welcome to our second guest, Siti Kasim.
Yeah, I'm short, so yeah, typical Asian height. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Good evening. Thank you to Adisa and you guys for inviting me here. I'm not sure how many of you have been to Malaysia. Malaysia is a beautiful country. It's multiracial, multi-faith. But when you go deeper into it, there are a lot of problems in my country. So I am a lawyer by profession. I used to live in UK for 17 years before I returned to Malaysia. When I returned to Malaysia, I was like a foreigner. I was shocked with a lot of what's going on, the system. And then when I joined the bar is where all the lawyers, under the bar, we must be registered under the bar. So, and then I joined the Human Rights Committee under the bar. Then that's where I found out there's so many issues with regards to human rights affecting Malaysians in Malaysia, especially the indigenous people, the LGBTIQ, and the minority rights, meaning the non-Muslims. Now, majority are Muslims in Malaysia, and there are about 60% of Muslims, and the rest are all other races and faith. So you have to understand the system in Malaysia. There are two legal systems. One is the civil system, which is the secular system. The other one is Sharia. When we first gained our independence, the Sharia system was mainly for marriage, divorce, and inheritance. That's all. That's the area they cover. But now it has expanded to more and more, and they are wanting to implement more and more rules over the Muslims. Even though they say that these rules are not going to affect the non-Muslims, but it does, as proven in many other cases that has come forward. So I started to be very vocal. I'm a Muslim and a Malay, so by our definition of constitution, a Malay must be a Muslim. If you actually want to leave Islam in Malaysia, it's not allowed. Okay, it's not allowed. You have no freedom of religion in Malaysia for Muslims. But if you are non-Muslim, you want to convert into Islam, very easy. But once you want to come out, it's impossible. In fact, now it becomes totally impossible. Many cases have gone to courts. They will pass it on to the Sharia court. And I believe the use of religion is the core problem that actually affects all of us in Malaysia with regards to minority rights, including the LGBTIQ community. You see, because they seem to think that they have the right to actually control us. You know, they want to put laws on what, as a Muslim, I can eat, when I can eat, what I can drink, how to wear, what to even think, you see. In the Sharia court now, there are so many new enactments in which they have expanded that if I criticize a religious body and a religious person, I can be prosecuted under the Sharia. But this is it's a very difficult situation in which political Islam is pushing. They want to gain more and more power in Malaysia. And people like me, thank God that we still have the non-Muslims which are together. That's why my supporters are mainly a lot of non-Muslim and Muslim like me, who do not want more religious role in Malaysia. But unfortunately for us, our politicians seem to like using this religion thing to say they are the biggest defender of Islam, the biggest defender of the Malays, so that they get more votes from the Malays. This is what they do. It's for politics reason, you know, but you will never see elite, rich, title Malays will be prosecuted in the Sharia courts. Only the poor Malays, the uninformed Malays, that will be charged in the Sharia courts. So this is what I've been trying to, so I've been very outspoken. I always call myself as a one-woman army, because when I started talking about the use of religion, you know, towards us, I feel that I was the only person that dared to actually speak up, because being a virtue, being a lawyer, I actually know my rights, and I actually want to tell people not to be afraid. Okay, so because of me being so vocal, they don't, I call them Islamofascists, because only fascists who want to force their moral values and their religious values onto others. Because I think religion has no problem. Religion per se is okay, but keep it inside your house, in your, you know, in your private lives, not to bring it into the public sphere. This is my belief, and especially government should not bring in religion when they are making policies and laws. You know, that is what I believe. And when I say about these things, the Islamofascists don't like, the Islamists don't like. So that's why they try to put me down by, you know, putting bombs under my car. I have bombs under my car, and they try to shut me up. Well, I got thousands of online threats, you know, and they want to kill me, they want to hurt me and everything. But yeah, being me, I just don't care what people say, you know, and that's why they hate me more, because I couldn't be bothered what you said, because I actually take action against religious authorities, against government agencies if they do anything illegal. So like recent case which I won, thank God that we still have a very good judiciary. We still have a good bar. We still have a good human rights body, which are still, you know, supporting for the secularism rather than this, you know, they are pushing into Malaysia becoming an Islamic state, because that's what they want. The recent Pew research says 85% of Muslims in Malaysia want a Sharia system. They don't know what is, you know, what will happen to them if really full Sharia is implemented in Malaysia. Because you see, they don't see other countries which are implementing Sharia. They are not successful. They oppress human rights, especially LGBTIQ. Right now in Malaysia, recently they just raided all-men spa with a suspicion that there are gay sex going on in the spa. But of course, they cannot find any evidence of that. No one claimed to be a victim. So the police said they cannot pursue the matter anymore. But they raided the place and paraded the men in their towels, you know, and with their faces publicly. So we are trying to get these people to sue the government, to sue the police. This is what we do as lawyers. So we try to make sure that people know their rights, that, you know, their rights to privacy has been invaded by the authorities. So I got this Shelter City because, again, like Adisa, someone told me that, Siti, why don't you try and apply? So I applied online, and maybe because of all the threats against me and you know, everything that you know, is going on in my own country. So yeah, I got a place for this year, and out of 1,000 over application, I was told only 11 you know, selected for this session. So I'm very grateful, actually. I have to thank the Dutch people for actually having us here, of course using your taxpayers' money, you know, and you know, that you are willing to spend to support human rights defenders all around the world. Currently amongst us, they are from Ukraine, from Palestine, from Venezuela, from Vietnam, Malaysia, Ghana. So the justice and peace people really select their people, the candidates carefully. So that is my story. There's so much to tell you. Malaysia, my aim is to make sure Malaysia remain a democratic country. I do not want my country to go down to be a Taliban country, because you see, for me, the use of religion in politics is the worst. You never allow any kind of religious belief, any religion, to be infiltrating your government. Once you allow that, it becomes a problem. This is what happened in Malaysia, because when we first started, we are very secular. In those days, back in the 70s, trans women are able to do sex change legally in our government hospital. Okay, and they are able to change their ID card. We have ID, every one of us has an ID from birth. So they can change from male to female. And they can even get married legally in those times. But then we have Islamofascists infiltrating the government, and they put in place all these policies and laws into our government, and it becomes now illegal, not allowed. In fact, trans women, because they are very visible, easy to know that they are trans women, most of them. So they are the most persecuted in Malaysia. Some of them got killed because being a trans woman. In the Sharia provision, a man dressed as a woman, you are liable to be arrested and punished. How can that be? They don't even disturb anyone. They just want to live their life. And this is what I always advocated for. Why don't you just leave these people alone? If there is no harm done to others, there is no victim, what is your problem? Just because you believe you have a duty as a Muslim to stop these so-called sins. But if they know their Quran, if they know their religion, no one bears another's burden. The Quran says that, okay? And if you may be interested to know about, please Google after you finish Islamicity Index. This index, they actually rank all countries in the world. Which country is the most Islamic in their governance? Which country? You'll be surprised. The top 20 are all Western countries, especially European countries. Netherlands last year was number 4 or 5. You are more Islamic than the so-called Islamic countries. Malaysia is number 45. Don't mention about any other countries, the so-called Islamic countries, Afghanistan, Pakistan. They are all at the bottom rank because, you see, this is the problem. I call it, many of us believe that what we are practicing is the Arab religion, is not Islam per se. Because the principles of the Quran is actually to respect every living human, or not just human, living things created by God. So that is the principle of Quran, to live peacefully with each other. But the message somehow has gone wrong with all the preachers and the people who call themselves to be religious, and so they have more and more power in dictating to us on how we live our lives. So, why is it the European countries, they go very high? Because you respect human rights, because your government manage the people, the country, the environment better than the so-called Muslim countries. So being a Muslim is actually to live peacefully and to live together, nicely. Whoever we are supposed to be friends. So this is why I reject the mainstream idea of Islam, and that's why you don't see me covering my hair. I don't look like a Muslimah, they call it. Although I get attacked a lot for that in Malaysia because I don't cover my hair. So what? I said in the Quran, it doesn't say I have to cover my hair. in the Quran says, I have to cover my breasts very clearly. If God is saying very clearly, cover your breasts, don't tell me he forgets to say, the hair, right? So, this is, this is why I am disliked by many Muslims, because they themselves do not know or understand their own religion. And I believe when you bring in religion into politics, it becomes a big problem. And this is what is happening in Malaysia. And I'm trying to stop that. And when I stood as an independent before, my theme was separation of religion from the state. This is my aim. I do not want to see my country to become a Taliban state or, like the so-called Muslim countries. So please check out this Islamicity Index, how they get to this ranking, how they see Islam. It's a incredible people who set this up. I won't take long because you can ask me any more questions if you have. Because if I want to tell you, there's so many, our indigenous rights, our indigenous people, they don't respect their land rights, don't talk about minority rights. There is there is serious discrimination towards other races in Malaysia because they have a quota, quota for university intake, for business, for everything. How can it be, and then if they are born in Malaysia, they should be Malaysian, right? So let's say here, a Dutch person, once they took up Dutch citizenship, that person will be treated as equally as others, isn't it? But not in Malaysia. These people are born there for they are the third generation, but they don't have the same rights as the so-called Malays, because there is one section, Article 153, so they keep using that. But that section is only to give, to actually, when we first gained independence, the Chinese are much more economically better than the Malays. So that is to give the Malays, to give them the same level, to reach the same level. And and we believe, a lot of us believe that has long gone. A lot of rich Malays now. In fact, the Malays in power, they are so rich. I'm sure you have heard of 1MDB in Malaysia. The biggest kleptocracy by our ex-prime minister. He stole billions of our money, and that is not condemned. In fact, they still worship him. It's crazy how in the mentality of some people in Malaysia. But yeah, my main aim is I wish Malaysia will be, that all of us will be treated equally, no matter what race, no matter what faith. Then only I think we can progress in the future as Malaysians, because we have brilliant people, but they have left the country because the country do not appreciate them. So they leave the country and they become more successful in other countries. Don't talk about LGBTIQ. So many of them left because especially the Muslim LGBTIQ, they are being persecuted nearly every day, especially the trans women, because they are more obvious. Yeah, life is not easy for communities, that don't follow the mainstream. So even like me, they try to put me down, and try to, I spend, time in jail as well, because they just want to shut me down. They just want to make sure that I don't speak up, but they got the wrong girl, because the more you try and get me, the more I will fight back. So yeah, this is, in a nutshell, Malaysia. Malaysia is a beautiful country. Please come and visit us. It's a beautiful country. As a tourist, you come, you will enjoy it. Okay, but especially if you are a tourist, they don't disturb you. But if you are living there, you are Malaysians, then you may not be so happy because there's so many things going on, and we are not happy with our politicians because the way they are going is not where we want them to go. So yeah, any questions, do ask me afterwards. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
Please take a seat. Thank you so much for that passionate account. I'll give you a second.
Yeah, it's okay, go.
So you called yourself... yeah, it's...
Oh, okay, no, I didn't. I think if I sit on it, it will break already. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So you call yourself the One Woman Army.
one woman army,
Yeah.
yes.
I believe you. But is there not more of a movement that agrees with you? Because I think your point of view comes from a love of your country and
Yes.
that it doesn't go in the direction that you would want for it.
Yeah.
Are there not more people that stand behind you?
Oh, of course there are. There are many people behind me, and that is the strength I have. That is the reason I'm still continuing with my work or whatever I want to say with regards to the politicians or whatever, because the supporters that I have in Malaysia, they are the strength for me. Without them supporting me, I will be feeling I'm all alone, but I don't feel I'm alone. And the fact that I got a place here with the grace of the Dutch people, and Justice and for Peace, as well as Lawyers for Lawyers, who have been working closely with me here. They are my supporting NGO whilst living in Netherlands. So that is my strength. There are many, but you have to understand that many people are in fear in Malaysia because a lot of them feel there is an unfairness going on, because when somebody says anything negative about Islam, they will be quickly arrested by the authorities. But if the preachers, the Muslim preachers, or anyone says bad things about Hinduism, about other faiths, they are not going to be. No one goes after them. You see, that's the unhappiness that we see. This is why, and I blame it on the politicians. I will blame it on them 100%, because they are supposed to be the leaders of the country. They are supposed to take lead. Okay, anyone who condemn any other religions, we are going to get you. Doesn't matter whether it's Islam or Hindu or Christian. You are not supposed to say nasty or stupid thing or bad things about somebody else's religion. But no, when it comes to the Muslim preachers, they don't take action. But when it comes to ordinary people who get upset, because of the things going on, being said by these people, they retaliated, then they get arrested. So how is that fair? So yeah, there are many people, but still in fear because they don't know the law. That's the thing. So they are so scared to say that, I have a friend, personal friend. He only shared an article on his social media about homosexuality during the Prophet's time. Okay? Only sharing an article which is widely available on the internet. And he said, what has changed? That means during the Prophet time, the LGBTIQ already exist. So why is it they are becoming hated now? If it was not hated before during the Prophet's time, why is it hated now? But he only said what has changed. And you know what? He was arrested and then he got charged in court. So this is what they do,
There is no space for dialogue in
No.
this, yeah.
There is no freedom of expression, no freedom of opinion. Although that is enshrined in our constitution, because that's what left by the British. Even our first Prime Minister, Tunku Abdul Rahman, said, Malaysia is not an Islamic state. He made that clearly. But somehow, over the years, the politicians have allowed the infiltration of these religious ideals to come into policies, education, in everything. Even if I go to government, recently in Malaysia, the woman got into an accident, a car. So she's not a Muslim, so she was wearing a skirt which is just above the knee. She was not allowed to lodge a police report. She was told to go back first, change, and then come back to lodge a police report. Okay, that is the extent. Our police, since when they become the police morality, okay? But thank God, one of the political party which used to say a lot of things, but since they become government, part of the government, they don't say anything because they want to keep the unity government together. But since they lost totally in one state election recently, so DAP is called, so they now become more vocal suddenly because they lost 0. They didn't get any seat in Sabah. So now they realize that, oh my God, we are so hated by the very people that supported us before. So that's why now they start to voice up. So the cabinet actually told the police, anyone who wants to come and lodge a police report, you must take them now. You are not supposed to look at their dressing. Even the dressing, just a skirt above the knee. That's why I said, what is their problem? When they see girls' knees, you get excited? I said, I said to the Islamophasis, I said, what is your problem? Seeing girls' knees makes you excited? Well, this is the extent they will go, Yeah.
So in this situation, I guess the reason is religion, is what they say, but it sounds like it is mostly just political all throughout.
Yeah, the politicians, they enable them. They gave so much money. Every year budget, they will give billions of money to this to Islam, okay? And the mushrooming of religious schools is unbelievable in Malaysia, without control. And how many sex abuse happening in these religious schools? It is incredible. They are supposed to be religious school, but you get news about the teachers sodomizing the kids in schools. They live in a boarding school, religious school. So, this is the thing. I don't understand the Ministry of Education. Why are they not controlling these so-called religious schools? Any Dick and Harry can open up a religious school. Once they open up, they ask money, donation to build the building for the school. And then the parents pay, and I blame the parents as well because they want to relieve their responsibilities so that, they also being taught, if you send your kids to religious schools, you will go to heaven. This is the rhetoric they have been sold to, and they really believe that. Unfortunately, so this so many things.
There's too much to get into.
Yeah,
it's
a lot. Yeah, I can talk whole day here.
Again, I believe you.
Yeah.
But we still have time later in the question round with everyone.
Yes.
So I think I will take this opportunity to close it off, and then I think we'll have a small break. No, we keep going. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Then 10 minutes. Let me open the floor. Is there anyone? If you raise your hand, someone will come with a microphone, I think, or in front here.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
My name is Mary Cynthia. My question tonight, I'm going to be directing it to Adisa because me and her, we come from the same West Africa. I'm from Nigeria, by the way. Yeah. So I understand everything she has said here, and the difficulties and the brutalities with the poor people face in the Western Africa, Nigeria precisely. So coming from a country where being a poor person, you are sentenced to 14 years imprisonment, and if they want to wicked you, they will use Sharia law on you, which is like deaths, and if you are also caught by anybody on the streets, showing your identity, people could, kill you and nothing will be done about it. Like, people can do like a mass beating on you, injure you, and even kill you, and nothing will be done about it. Now, people in Ghana also face, this brutality. You talked about the trans people and how they take substances and, injure themselves, trying to feel good about themselves. I want to know the approach that you want to use to communicate this, the information that you want to communicate with them. What are the approaches that are safe and effective for you to communicate these things to them without you not putting yourself in danger and also these people that you want to help in danger?
Adisa?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a joy to see that a fellow West African is here. Yeah, and unfortunately, they were the first to pass something similar to the law that we are expecting to have. But then I think Nigeria has made progress because you've been able to silently strike down most of the clauses in your Same-Sex Marriage Prohibition Act, which is a good thing. So in the approach that I'm proposing, so is a podcast. So the idea is it will be recorded and then published online. And we know that the young people of today, if they are looking for information, they go online and then search for them. And so podcast is seemingly becoming one of the ways that we are able to spread awareness or educate young people, since, again, it's becoming increasingly difficult to bring people into a space for workshops or engagements. Before, it was very easy to do that, especially, again, if you are bringing trans people. If you are bringing people who look like they are not part of the community, it's easier. But then if it is trans people, we know that they look very visibly LGBT, so it's very difficult to convene these people into a space. Therefore, we use podcasts or other social media avenues to spread the awareness that we have.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I see two people in the back. I think you are first.
I also have a question about the podcast because I just will speak loud.
It's for the stream. We have a short technical difficulty. Apologies. We will do that. Oh yeah, you can use that.
Yeah, hi. I also had a question about the podcast because when you made the when you're gonna make the podcast, it will be known for everyone that you're the maker of it. Are your life not in danger when you do it, or are you not going to jail? Are you not afraid of it? Because when you were speaking here, you were telling us even if when we are sitting here, we even have a risk to get into jail. And now everyone will know that you will be the founder of the podcast. So I'm worried about your life then, a little.
Yeah. Okay. So in the way that we do podcasts now, it's audio. It's no visual. That's how we've started doing the podcast back home. So most of the few podcasts that we've been successfully, we have produced successfully, they are all audio. So it's an audio thing. It's not a visual. However, some of us are already out there. We are not about to start being afraid. And then again, luckily, the bill has not passed. So as it is now, even though these are one of the videos that I have that is online, if you Google my name, it's easy to see things that I've said that are public online, and it's me being there as an LGBTIQ plus person. So if it's information about me and some other frontliners, it's there already that this is who we are. But then also, like I was saying, the bill has not passed yet. So until it is passed, we are not criminals. But we know that when it gets passed, there's very little we can do with regards to this information that is already out there. However, we know we can only be criminalized. We can only be, arrested after the bill gets passed if we do something after that point. That is where and why we will continue doing this podcast, but without a video. So it's more audio.
Thank you. I think the microphone is back on.
Then I have one other question. Because in January there will be elections for a new president in Ghana. That's what I heard.
We already had our election last December, so we have a new president starting January 7th this year. And so we have a new parliament. That is why the bill has been introduced in parliament again.
Yeah, and there's no hope that there will be any chance.
No, we believe, some of us believe strongly that something will get passed. As to what will get passed, we do not know, because the current bill as we saw last, is what I explained. But then we know it's been worked on over and over again, but they've kept it very close to their hearts, and so we don't even know exactly what they are pushing now. But then we know there's a bill that has been tabled before Parliament, and some of us are very realistic to know that something will get passed. Like I said, it passed in Nigeria, it passed in Uganda. We don't think Ghana is special. We know something will get passed, we just don't know exactly what will be passed.
Thank you. Anybody else? We have one here.
Hi. I
one there.
have a question for Siti. I wonder if you go to the judge, being a lawyer, can you win, or how is the position of the judge in the Muslim society?
Yeah, okay. As I said, thank God for still a reliable judiciary, meaning judges, and also we have a very strong bar, meaning the Lawyers Association, and we have very strong NGOs, human rights NGOs in Malaysia. And this is due, I do believe Malaysia is still savable because of the existence of Malays like me, not many Malays like me, who are liberal, and in fact, the current Prime Minister called me a super liberal. And I say I'm not ashamed of being a super liberal or whatever, because a liberal is a good person who will respect your rights, this is in Malaysia, the word liberal and secular pluralism is something bad. They have managed to make it sound bad. So the judiciaries, fortunately, is still strong. Thank God for that, because we make a lot of noise. For example, the last Chief Justice were not extended the usual 6-month period by our current Prime Minister, because he wants, purportedly, we don't know, but he's trying to put in his people, maybe, okay? So that's the assumption people are thinking. And so much noise made, we make so much noise because it looks like Malaysian government, they work on pressure. They work on pressure. When there's so much pressure, they will withdraw. They will not do it. So like they try to implement RUU Mufti, which is religiously related. So we make a lot of comments, and feedback, and we make noise. So then the parliamentarians ought to listen, and they pull back the bill. So, and that's how it works, it shouldn't be like that. You know, why do you want to introduce useless bills which is not going to make a country progress? Why? Why waste time, our parliamentarians' times, yeah? But no, they want to try and put in more and more if they can. They are pushing. But we are trying to resist. So, yeah, I thank God for the still strong bar, strong judiciary, and also the human rights NGOs in Malaysia. But due to the cutting of funding, because none of the NGOs actually get help, yeah, from the government. Unlike here, the government actually support human rights NGOs in the Netherlands, but in Malaysia, they will support the Islamic NGOs, but they will not support human rights NGOs, okay? Because to them, it is not in line with Islam. This is the problem. And so, yeah, so the NGOs in Malaysia rely a lot from overseas funding. But due to the Israel and Palestine war, US cutting funding, it affects many NGOs all around the world. So so somehow they are still surviving, but on a very skeletal. I think it affects Ghana as well. All over the world, all NGOs suffering from the cut of the funding to human rights bodies. Yeah.
Thank you. We have time for one more question, and I did see someone raise the hand in front of here. Yeah.
My question is for Adisa about the bill which is going to be tabled. Once it is tabled and with the majority of with consensus that is passed, that will be an act. Is there have you studied the bill? Is there any retrospective clause in the bill? From the retrospective, I mean what you are doing today, that will be punishable tomorrow as well, and the bill. You understand?
One more time.
There is in the bill, if you have studied, is there any retrospective clause? Retrospective means what you are doing today, tomorrow after the passing of bill, which will become the act, that will also be punishable, or yeah.
If I understood correctly, if any of the actions he did now are still punishable if the bill passes later.
Yeah.
Would that be possible? Have you studied the bill to see if that's in there somewhere?
Yeah, so like I was saying, the bill as it was last year, that we have seen, and there's nothing like that. So it's yes.
This one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. So the bill, as it was last year, did not have any clause that indicates that you can be punished for something that you were doing prior to it becoming a bill. But now, like I was saying, after we had a new parliament with a new government since January 2027, we know that the bill has gone and they've redone it a couple of times, and we haven't seen that bill. So we do not even know what exactly it is that they are working on now that they are pushing to pass. The only thing is we know it might not be as terrible as it used to be, but we like to believe that they will not introduce anything new. What we knew they were trying to add to the other bill was the fact that, so if you're an LGBT person and it becomes law and you're identified as an LGBT person and the government is looking for you and you flee the country, they wanted to introduce a clause that says you have to be brought back to be prosecuted. It wasn't in the bill then as of last year, but we knew that was something they were working at adding. Have they added? We don't know.
Okay, it's not a great note to end on, but thank you for sharing it nonetheless. Sadly, that is all the time we have for now for the question round. So I would like to thank everybody that asked it, and I hope it was enlightening. I would like to thank our two guests for being so open. Thank you so much for sharing all of your stories, and we would love to hear more, I think, after we close up. Feel free to talk, and thank you all for coming.